Hello and welcome to the Valley. Today I am your host, Janet Michael. I am very, very, very excited to share with you where I am sitting today. So I'm sitting at Patti's place, which is on the property of Laurel Grove Wine Farm, which I have not been to since August of 2023. So everyone listening today has heard Jaclyn momming since then, because we talked a couple of weeks ago about the farm crawl that just happened in early October. But when Justin Kearns and I were here oh so long ago, this building existed-ish.
The former version of this building. So the schoolhouse existed, and now it's the schoolhouse replica. As Reader and Schwartz like to call it, the tribute building.
So we're sitting here on a Monday morning having a conversation. Before we sat down to record, though, I got a new tour of everything that's happening. So for someone who may not remember what your vision is for Laurel Grove Wine Farm, give me a little history and a little re-education.
So I had this cathartic moment where I needed to change my life, and I wanted to move my kids to a farm and have them be connected to their food and take care of animals and do all that stuff, which we covered in 2023. And then my husband was like, sure, we'll do this, but only if we grow grapes. So I did that, and we researched where to grow grapes, and we ended up here in the Valley, where apparently the best grapes in Virginia are grown. And we have been one foot in front of the other, teaching ourselves how to grow grapes and how to work lawnmowers and how to do all the things. And now I can drive tractors and I can work lawnmowers. I can do so many more things. I'm so much more confident than last time we spoke.
And not just any grapes in any way. You have a very specific reasoning and way that you are creating this farm.
Yes. As I started to learn how grapes were grown and how our food was grown in the process of transitioning my life, I became enraged at our food. Sometimes I try and be less angry when I talk to people because I feel like that's not really, people don't want to be around angry people. Which
doesn't always convince them to reconsider their choices if you're yelling at them.
Yeah, I don't want to yell at anybody. But I do think that more people should be aware big ag and big pharma are totally in bed together to make the food system, like farmers are pushers. They're like drug addicts to their crops and their soil, and they've killed the soil. And I don't think it's the farmers' fault. The farmers,
they're doing the best they can with what they've had to work with.
100%. And then their land has been so depleted that they're actually dependent, and they're now in a cycle of addiction with their crops. The prices are going up, and these chemicals have really made the population sick. We have diseases that are new as a result. We also, our immune systems are compromised, so all of the things that are naturally occurring in our body but don't express themselves, which is not a concept I really understood until I started farming. But like ADHD exists in lots of different people, but it didn't have the capacity to express itself because our immune systems and our body functioning was better. So when they say that our food is causing ADHD, that's not actually an honest correlation. It's actually that the food is suppressing the mechanisms of your body that would allow it to combat ADHD.
That makes sense.
Exactly.
Like more vitamin C sometimes keeps you from getting a cold as bad.
Exactly.
Similar.
Like we all have E. coli in our systems at all times. And it's just when your immune system is compromised or you've had an intake of additional E. coli that allows a bloom to occur and your immune system can't suppress it, that you have that reaction in your body. But you have good and bad bacteria in you all the time. So the food we are eating is actually making our bodies unable to do their fundamental functions, which is making us more sick and sick with new things, and that is supporting an entire industry of pharmaceuticals. It's simply about playing symptom whack-a-mole, and I have had enough. I thought for a half second about holding a sign in Washington, D.C., but that seems like it would actually enrage me more because I wouldn't be able to get anything done. So I was like, I'm going to plant food, and I'm going to make sure that it is not filled with chemicals, and I am going to get beef and pork and chicken from people who are not doing it, and I'm going to grow these things eventually myself, and I'm going to get products that don't make us sick, because it's not just limited to the food. Your lotions, the chemicals in your lotions, your makeup has over 180 chemicals that are hormone disruptors. The more you learn, the more it's just, oh my God, can I exist as a normal person in the world? But you can.
I was going to say, please tell me there's good news.
No, there are people who, like me, have just had enough, right? There's people who now make makeup that is just made of natural stuff. And that is something that we are looking to bring. We are researching different kinds of makeup because while I don't wear makeup myself, it's because I don't like the options that I have. But I'm not anti-makeup. I'm like, people who want to wear makeup, I get it. Like, when I wear makeup, I feel pretty. So I am trying to build a farm that is conscientiously trying to make soil better in order to make food healthier, in order to make people healthier and communities healthier. It may sound like a lofty Pollyanna goal, but there are lots of people doing this in their small little microcosms all over the planet. We must make this change or we're all gonna be sick and the planet is sick. We need to change.
And there's a lot of science behind what you're talking about and that guides you in how to actually do that. Because you wouldn't be able by yourself to start from scratch and figure out, okay, how do I even do this? Because you're not even starting from a safe ground zero.
Yeah, you have to think about the metrics that will guide your farming practices, right? Because otherwise it's just, oh, I didn't use chemicals this year, how good do I feel? But if you're actually regenerating soil, you need to make sure that soil is getting healthier. So what are my metrics? I look at soil. I look at soil under a microscope every spring and every fall from my farm. I bought a microscope. I took the Soil Food Web Elaine Ingham course where I learned how to use that microscope and identify different life in the soil and what's good and what's bad and what that means and how diversified you are. And to be honest, my soil needs work. But I'm working on it. And then the metrics of how well I'm doing and how healthy my plants are during the growing season are the sugar bricks in the leaves. Everyone knows that grapes have sugar, and when you harvest them based on their brix content, the sugar in the fruit. But the leaves also have a sugar content. And if you mash up those leaves and squeeze a little bit of juice on a refractometer, which is a $20 tool on Amazon, you can see if you're photosynthesizing at a level that makes it so your plants and their immune system is functioning where they can suppress disease and all of those things.
Thereby not needing any of the pesticides or chemicals to help that process.
Exactly. Their immune systems work just like ours, and if they don't have a healthy immune system, which is judged by their photosynthesizing, then they are more susceptible to fungal disease and insect pressure and all of those things.
Why grapes? Because I feel like there are 100, if not 1,000 other things that are easier to grow in and of themselves, much less to put this kind of pressure. So why was it that your husband said, okay, yeah, we can do that, but we got to grow grapes? What was his connection? And then how did you say, okay, then this is what we're going to do?
Well, we both love wine. He loves wine and the stories, and he memorizes them. And his photographic memory when it comes to wine cataloging and his appreciation of winemakers and winemakers' practices is just...
He's a walking Wikipedia.
He is. When it comes to wine, he really knows everything, and it's super cool. For me, I love what wine does to us when we're drinking it with
the
food.
Social aspect.
Totally. When you are having a bottle of wine at a meal, it just changes it. And the people you're with, it's a different thing. And you're connecting and you're a little looser. And again, I'm not promoting being drunk, but there's a long way between your first glass of wine and being trashed. But I think it helps you eat slower. You talk about things. You let a lot of your guard down and you connect. And that's what I'm all about. So that is what appeals to me about wine, and his love of wine in that way also made it so this was a very common ground. And then the third interesting component about wine is that people talk about the way it's farmed in a way that they don't talk about how cabbage is farmed or anything else. And people are starting to talk more about how meat is farmed. So
yeah, that's become a much better,
regenerative. Those are actually things that I find very encouraging. But we're still not talking about cucumbers that much. But when we do wine tastings here, I talk about how each vineyard is farming and what their practices are and biodynamics. Farming is a big part of the conversation of the wine. So I think that is also a very unique feature of wine and winemaking, and part of why I chose grapes as like my revolution fruit.
It's your revolution fruit. You have grapes planted. Some are in their second year.
Yeah.
When do you expect to potentially be harvesting something to make yourself? Because that is the ultimate goal.
Yeah, we are looking to grow grapes to harvest and make wine here on the premise, and then also eventually have a tasting room on the property where people can come and have a very sophisticated date with their significant other. Patti's Place is supposed to be a community center that's a little bit raucous and fun, and that is a much more elevated experience that will tell the story of the vineyard side. So we planted 7 acres last year, another 7 acres this year, and to be honest, we should have fruit in 3 years, but given that we are own rooted, so none of our trees are grafted, we had the worst drought last year, and then the rainiest spring, and then another horrible drought. I'm not sure when we'll have grapes. I assume somewhere in the next 3 to 5 years, but I'm looking to have trees that grow grapes for 100 years. So I don't really
This
care.
is the little bit on the front end that
Yeah.
you knew going in was going to be the process. But you'll see a bottle of your own wine in your lifetime.
100%.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's be clear about that.
If I don't have wine in 5 years, then we're like, maybe we're really doing something wrong.
We need to seriously tweak what we were thinking about.
Yes. There are people growing own-rooted vines elsewhere in the world that get fruit in about 3 to 5 years after they plant. So that's not an unrealistic expectation. We just don't have a rootstock that is pushing the fruit to grow faster than it would naturally.
And you're also dealing with climate change. You're dealing with the fact that you cannot control in any way, shape, or form the weather itself. Whether we have a rainy spring or a dry summer or vice versa, or crazy long periods of snow and below freezing temps, you gotta work with what you've got.
Yeah, 2024 was heartbreaking. It was so dry. And we came up with an irrigation Band-Aid that got us through the year. We had a lot of die-off, but we were like, yay, something came back. And then this year, we designed an irrigation system, and once they started, we were like, well, thankfully it was a rainy spring, so we're not in dire straits, but then it became dire straits, and their timeline ran over about 2 months. But then the irrigation came on, and as soon as the irrigation came on, you could see all the life return to those vines and the cover crop strips underneath those vines. So that has been a game changer, and I will never, again, there's a big learning curve for me, but I will never plant vines again before I have an irrigation system installed the same time as the grapes are planted. They need water from the beginning. They're baby vines. They cannot sustain life without constant water.
And you can't assume that it's always going to come from the sky, as we have learned.
I would be a big fool to assume that. I have been taught that lesson.
You have learned that lesson over and over again.
Yeah, and Mother Nature keeps on being like, don't forget I'm the boss. And I'm like, no, I got it, lady.
Okay, I got it. Yes.
Yeah, no, I respect
Yes.
it.
I bow to you now, okay? It's fine.
But I bowed to her in the beginning, so I don't know why the hard lesson. I'm on your team, lady.
Let's take a break. When we come back, let's talk about this community center of Patti's Place. You've got a wine library, you've got a room for meetings or yoga. There are so many really cool products. I can come here and have a latte. I can have lunch. There's a lot of things that you've got going on here. Can we get in the weeds on that in the next segment?
Would be my pleasure.
Okay, we're going to do all of that when we come back. We're sitting here today at Patti's Place at Laurel Grove Wine Farm. Jaclyn Mauman is here with me. She is the farmer in charge, more or less. Yeah. We're going to come back and learn more about the history behind Patti's Place in just a couple of minutes.
Okay. I don't think Janet knows I'm recording this. She just stepped away to get another cup of coffee, so here's my chance. Hey everyone, it's Andy from the United Way of the Northern Shenandoah Valley. And yes, Janet, if you're hearing this, surprise. We're still celebrating the Valley Today's 2500th episode and this awesome community fundraiser you came up with. Here's the deal. Between now and the end of the year, it's Janet's goal to raise $2,500 to support the great work of the nonprofits in this community. If you give just $25 or more, you're going to be entered into a chance to be a guest on the show with Janet. If you give $250 or more, we'll make you a commercial just like this one that will air on the Valley Today podcast. So go to givebutter.com/The Valley Today right now before Janet realizes that I've hijacked her airtime. She's walking back in, cup of coffee in hand, gotta go. Remember to donate between now and the end of the year and support the great work of so many nonprofits and celebrate 2,500 episodes of The Valley Today.
Welcome back to the Valley Today. I am your host, Janet Michael. It is Tourism Tuesday, Winchester, Frederick County edition. So I'm sitting at Patti's place at Laurel Grove Wine Farm. Jaclyn Mommen is here with me. She is the farmer, the owner / co-owner, because we got to give your husband props. It was his intent to do the grapes.
It was.
And this is a team effort. It's not even just the two of you necessarily.
No, and if I pretended for a hot minute that I couldn't do it without the ecosystem around me, I would be the a-hole. I actually have such a cool team. My husband is just rooting for me for the side and giving me goals that are really hard to achieve, which pushes me, and the fact that he thinks I can do it no problem is really cool. My mother-in-law is the chef here. She really heads up the kitchen, and we just brought on a woman named Trish who now works with her in the kitchen and helping me with catering and wine events and all of those things. And then Joy came to us from Polyface. She is heading up the market garden, and all of the people who help me watch my children. I have Marissa, I have Lean. I have this awesome power team of people who just understand the mission and are willing to push forward to make it happen.
So give me a little bit of history surrounding Patti's Place. How did you come up with the name? What did this building used to be? And why is this so important to you?
Interestingly enough, when we were first going to move to Virginia and onto the farm, and we knew we were going to give the house here to my in-laws who were moving from South Africa to help us get the project started, we were looking for a place to put a yurt. And I know I mentioned that in August 2023, but
to remember the yurt.
We were looking for a place to put the yurt, and I found this roof in the woods, and it turned out it was the Mount William Schoolhouse. And when we uncovered it and saw all the profanity and all the loitering that had been done here, I clearly was like, this needs to be a farm market. We're having a permaculture vineyard. I'm going to have sheep and all these other things immersed in the system in order to make it as diverse as possible. I'm going to have a lot of other stuff. Let's start a farm market. Once we had a farm market, then we needed a market garden, so we started developing the market garden component to the farm, and this took on a life of its own. But back to the name, because the name is actually really important to me. So Patti's Place. Patti is Patti Williams. I bought the farm from Gary Williams. When I bought the farm from Gary, he had other offers from developers, and I knew the pressure that was on this area for development. And I told him what I was going to build here. I told him about my vision, and he chose me. He had other offers. I'm sure they were better, and he still chose me. And then he stayed on the farm for a while because I bought it so fast that he didn't have another place to move. And I was actually like, that's perfect. I'm going to begin the logging operation. He received deliveries. He met people for me. He was my person in Virginia as I was driving back and forth. We sprayed fish guts together and put down cover crop together. We just had hours and hours of field work together. And at first this was going to be Gary's, and every time he was telling me a story about the farm, it was always Patti on Sunday would always stop us and kick everybody out, and we would go for a drive in the forest, just the two of us, and she loved this place. And all of these stories about Patti and how she loved how manicured he kept it. And I'm sure she would roll over if she saw how wild we keep it. But very much, Patti in this place was something magical for him. So one day I just looked at him and I was like, what if we call the store Patti's Place? And this tough man dropped a tear, and I was like, great.
That's it.
That's the name.
Decision made.
And it's so interesting because since then, her children have come into the store because they know about the store, they know about the story, and it wasn't something I thought about, but now I really want to pay homage to this woman who people speak of in this. She was clearly an amazing woman, and her children love her, and I really just hope that when they come here, they feel like she is celebrated. And because this is Mount Williams and she was Patti Williams, It is a testament to the long-standing history of the people of this place, and my thank you to Gary also. So the name is really significant, but everybody thinks I'm Patti. They come in and they're like, hey, are you Patti? And I'm like, no, but since you mentioned,
let me tell you who she was.
Yeah. So this woman who I never met has become such a huge part of my life, and I really hope that I always
Well, and
do
I feel
honor
like
to that.
just based on that story, when you look around here, so while the grounds may not necessarily be the most manicured, it is a farm.
Yeah.
After all, I've not ever seen a farm that was all that manicured, quite honestly.
Sure.
But
And manicured's not really our style. Like,
No.
we are looking for wild and wonderful, even though it's not West Virginia. We're creating a food forest that is supposed to create wonder. We want kids to explore in the woods, and there's a fort in the back that my son built with my brother-in-law, and it is rough, but the kids love it. We have a playground also, and they spend as much time in the homemade fort as they do in the playground.
yeah.
This place is about slowing down. It's about connecting. It's about a way of life that I truly believe is healthier for us at a fundamental level. The products that we have here are made with the ingredients that you can all pronounce. They are all made with packaging that is as sustainable as possible. The meat all comes from farmers who I know. I know how they raise those animals. We have both grass-fed, grass-finished meat from Irishire Farms, who has been an amazing partner, and we have meat from Garrity Micro Farms that is grass-fed, corn-finished, but they are very, very deliberate with their
She is very
GMO-free
specific, yes.
corn that they offer, because that corn allows them to provide a more uniform product. And I understand that as well, and some people like meat that way. Again, I'm trying to meet people where they are and provide products that they need, but I'm never going to have Coca-Cola here, and I'm never going to have
quite
things
frankly, with a wine library the size of that one, I could care less.
It's
And
true.
a latte machine, who needs Coke?
I'm with you, and sparkling water really ticks that soda box
That's
for me.
true,
So
yes.
the wine library, I get a lot of people who tell me it can't be done, which is actually my favorite thing for people to tell me, because nothing fuels my fire more than telling me I can't do it. And
Oh
I'm
yeah,
like,
you thought she was angry earlier. Wait
Yeah,
till
yeah.
you come in here and say that
it
to
can't
her.
be done. It can't be done in Virginia. It's too humid here. If you just think about it at a different angle, anything can be done anywhere. And all of the winemakers in that wine library have proved that.
And we're told the same thing, likely.
100%. They were all told the same thing. Joel Salatin was told he couldn't do what he did. Rick Clark was told he couldn't do what he did. All of these amazing regenerative farmer forebearers really were all told that their idea was dumb and it can't be established. Before we had agrochemicals, people grew food and managed to eat. It's how the species survived. I don't know why that's such like a really
Such a
novel
crazy thing,
concept,
yes.
but like people made wine. There was wonderful wine being made before we had fungicide.
Shocking.
I know, mind blown, but it was done for much longer without.
The thing that I love too about the wine library is that somebody can come in and say, oh, that's not possible. And you're like, let me get you a class.
Yeah. And
Let me tell you a little bit about this particular wine.
the most fun is that when people come in repeatedly and they're like, red wine normally gives me a headache, but the wine that I got from here doesn't.
Ding, 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 ding.
100%. And I'm like, well, interestingly enough, grapes, while they account for only 3% of total agricultural production worldwide, they account for 20% of all the pesticide and fungicide use in the agricultural industry.
Wow.
They are one of the dirtiest crops in the industry.
And that makes sense at a surface level, because I joked with you earlier, why grapes? Because they are very finicky,
Yeah.
and this is part of that process.
Yeah, they are not the easiest fruit to grow, but also like this idea of overly manicured and perfect vineyards that have no blemishes, that isn't real. That's not actually the way fruit trees grow. That's not the way humans grow.
Oh, yeah.
Like, perfect is not our goal. We will get some fungal disease and we will have some animals eat our fruit, and that will all happen, and we will cut that fruit off. There's actually a machine called an optical sorter, and I know it's expensive, but that is something that we're going to invest in order to make sure that nothing but our most perfect fruit goes into the wine. It's actually super cool. It rejects all of the fruit that is not perfect.
Get out.
It's amazing.
So when can people come here? Is Patti's Place open year round? Is it only open on certain days? Give me some of that information.
Yeah, so last year we closed for a month over the winter, but we are not doing that this year. We are going to remain open all year. The only thing that will close is the cafe, but the marketplace will remain open. Patti's Place, the market, is open Wednesday through Sunday from 10 to 4 and on Sunday 11 to 4. The cafe is open 11 to 3, Thursday to Sunday. We had to separate them because the demand on the cafe was just too great and there was too much pressure. It seemed to be that the cafe and the hours of the cafe and linking it to the marketplace seemed to be a drain, and it was creating a negative energy. So we just had to pivot and think about the hours and think about the way we wanted to structure those things. I wanted the marketplace to be open more, but we do not have the people in the kitchen to support it being open longer. We can still sell steak.
Right.
Even though we're not selling sandwiches.
Yes.
That's fine. Right now, lots of people are calling us for small Christmas parties and catering, and we're really trying to meet that demand because we're new and scrappy and we want to make people happy. Eating is a joyful thing, and we love hosting those parties. So it's all about finding balance. At the end of the day, we're a small family business, and we need to spend our evenings with our children and our family, and at the same time, we need to make enough money that we can still pay our bills.
All while making the earth a healthier, better place for all of us to live. Oh yeah,
There's only big goals here.
I've been to a lot of the farm markets in and around the area. You aren't carrying a lot of the things that they're carrying, which I appreciate. This is very curated, what you have here in the market, which I think makes it stand out a little bit more.
Yeah, it's not like I reject those things. But when I think about things that go into the store, I thought about what I need when I go to the grocery store. I want spices, I need aluminum foil, I need dishwasher detergent, and I need toilet paper. I also need tea and pasta sauce and meats and vegetables. I need all of those things. I don't need 50 options of those things.
Right.
We don't need that much choice, and that's fine. I offer one thing of toilet paper. It is a bamboo toilet paper. It has no chemicals in it. It has no bleach and no formaldehyde, and that's what I offer. If you're in this area and you need something, we are looking to fulfill that need. I want to be a grocery store in the most real sense, and I'm looking to fulfill that need in a way that is the most healthy, sustainable way possible. We have toothbrushes, we have toothpaste, we have a tongue scraper, we have deodorant, and all of the things that are in my store, I'm not full of crap. Like, I use the same stuff at my house.
We talked earlier about how you came upon this building and the shape that it was in. One of the first things that I asked you when I came in, because when we met in 2023, we didn't see this building. You explained it to us and you described what it was. It is phenomenal now, but the first thing out of my mouth was, okay, so how much of the old building did you get to save? And while you couldn't necessarily save it structurally, the things that you have been able to repurpose into this space, I think are fantastic. And those, again, go back to what you were saying earlier.
Was so annoyed.
They're the small things that make a big impact. And I think that's the overall message that you have for Patti's Place. You could do some small things that make a big impact.
You really can. I just think that small habit changes, while they feel initially like they could be big, I didn't get to my revolutionary status in one moment. It was small little things. My kids' school in New York City has a composting program where if you come in the morning at drop-off, they have a big garbage bin and everybody can throw their compost in the garbage bin and the city comes and picks it up. It's a great program, and you just started doing that. Then you do one more thing.
Little things.
I bought a book that was 100 ways to reduce your footprint, and I flipped pages and I picked one or two things, like a plastic straw. I can just drink with my mouth out of the side rim. It's fine. And kids, you know what? They actually don't need straws either. They did it for a long time.
Right before, before straws were here. How
and
did
you know what?
drink?
It may be more messy, but it's okay. Like, sometimes my daughter is eating and there's food everywhere. She's a year and a half and it's so messy. And that inclination that I have to be like, no, don't make a mess, and cleaning up right away. And then I'm like, take a deep breath. Everything's going to get clean. Let her play. There's a sensory component that I am actually robbing her of if I stop. I didn't have to put you in front of a screen and you literally entertained yourself with yogurt and a crunchy for an hour.
Win-win.
100%.
So where can people find more information? I assume you have all of the socials, the internet things.
All the things. We have a website, laurelgrovewinefarm.com, of which very soon our entire wine library will be up on our website.
Impressive.
For you to purchase online and pick up in person, because delivery is not a nut that I can crack right now. But I'm happy to put it aside and have it ready for you. And the descriptions on all the wine is also phenomenal. We tell you how it was made, who made it, how it was farmed, and what you can pair it with in terms of food. That's going to be a great addition to the website. The website tells the story of the farm and Patti's Place. And then our Instagram and our Facebook are much more day-to-day things, like what's happening. We have pumpkin carving, we have a wine tasting, and if anyone is interested in any of our events, we have yoga, anything like that, you can go onto the website and subscribe to our newsletter, and then you'll get a monthly blast with the information and sign-up links. And then we will remind you on Instagram a week or two before that we're having it. I do my best to do social media, and Black Valley Creative now helps me, and they're awesome.
Oh, they're amazing.
They are amazing and very wonderful at crafting those things.
Can I rent this space?
You can. It's my place, so I get to choose my own adventure all the time. So usually people will come to us with a request if they want to rent out the whole space, if they want to rent out just a room, if they want a special menu, if they just want to order off the menu, and they'll tell me what their dream occasion looks like, and I'll talk to the kitchen and we'll decide if we can make it happen or not. We had someone call us to do a wedding here, so we closed the store a little early and we changed everything up, transformed it, and they had an amazing wedding. It was beautiful. Events bigger than 25 that are sit down aren't really feasible in this space, and I'm not interested in renting tents. We're not an event venue, but I'm all about gathering, right? It's all about connection. So if I can help people connect in this space over food that is exceptionally delicious and healthy, I'm all for that.
Then the answer is always yes.
As much as I can say yes, I really try to.
Thank you for saying yes to me coming out and hanging out with you for a little bit today. This has been so much fun.
You're the easiest.
I will be back tomorrow with a brand new episode of The Valley Today. Ironically enough, I'm talking with Patrick Barker tomorrow from the Frederick County Economic Development Authority about liveloveshenandoah.com, which talks about why people should want to live here in Frederick County, city of Winchester, and all the other localities. So he'll give us some insight into that tomorrow, just a few minutes after noon.